Hey guys, today we're going to be grilling up a couple of choice grade tri-tips. So crack one open and get comfy and we will get started. First, we want to trim off any excess fat that may cause unnecessary flare-ups because we are cooking with charcoal today. These tri-tips came very well trimmed. We could have left them as is, but we did want to show some of the process anyway. We like to salt our meat prior to applying any seasoning or rubs. We have a coarse kosher salt and we wanted to reduce the size of some of the larger granules, so we gave it a light grind in our spice grinder. This step is optional, but we found that a finer salt will penetrate the meat deeper and give mouth-watering results. When salting our meat, we make sure to liberally coat every angle of these tri-tips because the salt is acting as our only marinade before we grill. So make sure to get the front and back, side to side, elbows up, lean like a cholo. Alright, so we let the salted tri-tip marinate in the fridge for about 2 hours. We just go ahead and wash the styrofoam container the meat came on and just reuse that since it's basically exactly the right size. Marination time does not have to be exact. You can move on to the next steps right after you see the salt has dissolved into the meat, which takes roughly about an hour, or you can wait as long as 24 hours. It really is totally up to you. While our meat is marinating, we're going to get started on a couple of different dry rubs. For our first, we'll start out with some dried rosemary and some crushed red pepper and give that a good grind in our spice grinder. Once it is finished, it should look a little something like this, and then we will add some minced garlic to that, as well as a big ol' hefty dose of paprika for heritage. Can't go wrong with that. Then we will add some chili powder, and we pretty much just eyeball all of this, and some ground cumin, and then we will add some onion powder. Right, give that a good little mix grind in our spice grinder, and then we have a couple more things to add, like some sugar in the raw. That just kind of helps bring everything together, as well as some whole black peppercorns because, I mean, you gotta have pepper. And then we'll go ahead and give that a nice grind and put that to the side. Next, we will get started on our second rub. For this one, we're going to be starting out with some whole fennel seeds and some minced garlic. We are going to go heavy on the garlic for this one. We just want a garlic heavy rub. If you haven't noticed yet, we're not adding salt to any of these just because we already pre-salted our meat and it's getting all nice and soaked in and it's going to be extremely flavorful. Next, I'm going to add some sugar in the raw. Once again, that just kind of helps bring all your flavors together. And now we'll just grind this up before we add the rest of our spices. Now that our spices are finely ground, we will add some dried oregano. Next up, we're going to add some onion powder. As you can see, I went a little heavy on the onion powder. That's okay. We're big fans of it around here. And do I even need to tell you? But of course, we're going to add some paprika. I don't think there's a single thing we cook without paprika in it. It's great. And then I'm going to add a little, maybe a lot of cayenne pepper. We do like a little spice around here too. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to add to my rub is going to be some black peppercorns. I do like to add quite a bit. Not only is it just good flavor all around and it adds to everything, but beef loves pepper. Salt and pepper on beef, you can never go wrong. If those are the only two seasonings you're going to use on beef, please let it be salt and pepper and you won't be disappointed. So now just grind your spice blend until your pepper is incorporated and you're all done with that. We just took our tri-tip out of the fridge and as you can see, our meat has darkened in color as well as the salt is no longer visible. So now we will add some Worcestershire sauce on both sides. We'll just be using that as a binder to hold on all our delicious spices. So just rub that right in and we will get started on putting on our rub. Now we are just going to start sprinkling on our rub. I call it a rub, but we don't necessarily rub it in as much as we sprinkle it on and kind of pat it into the meat. And you just want to make sure you get every square inch of meat. Once again, you get the front, you get the back, side to side. You know how that goes. And next we're doing our other one and same process. Just Worcestershire sauce and completely cover that bad boy in your seasoning. So once your tri-tips are seasoned well, they should look a little something like this, depending on how you season them, of course, because you could really go any way you want. But we're just going to let those hang out, rest, and temper a little bit while we get some charcoal started. Now to light our charcoal, I'm just going to throw a couple of fire starters down at the bottom and dump in some charcoal. Pick up those little pieces I missed, that's no problem. And then light it up, and once it gets white hot, we will throw it in with some more charcoal into our firebox and let that get nice and hot. Okay, so we're cooking for friends who like their meat well done, and we just can't be doing that, okay? So we're aiming for medium, and to do that, all you need to do is sear the tri-tip for 5 minutes on each side in both directions with the grill lid closed. We alternate the tri-tips while cooking to avoid any mishaps, and it's really much easier to control. Once we flip our meat and place it on the indirect side of the grill, we're actually going to baste the charcoal side with a mixture of our leftover spice blends, a tablespoon of olive oil, and about, I want to say, 3/4 of a stick of butter. And really, it's good. It adds such a good flavor to the tri-tip. It adds a really nice bark, and especially when you're a medium rare person, it makes eating that medium steak a little more pleasurable. So, yeah. But if you're looking for a medium rare, and that's typically how we prepare it for ourselves, try doing the same thing, but only searing for 4 minutes per side per direction with the grill lid wide open. Now while we finish grilling, I'm going to bless your ears with some seriously dank tunes. Now that our tri-tips are done and smelling absolutely incredible, we're going to lightly tint them with foil and let them rest for 20 minutes. No crimped edges on the foil, we just want it tinted. We don't want this steaming, it's already cooked plenty. Now that our meat is rested, we have a nice beautiful layer of juice, and we're going to get cutting. Cutting the tri-tip properly is very important. If we don't do this properly, it honestly will ruin the tri-tip. First, what we want to do is we want to try to separate the two main muscles because the grains run in slightly different directions. Once we've done that, we're going to cut against the grain. If you were to cut with the grain, it won't really matter how well you cooked your tri-tip. Your finished product will be unbearably tough and chewy. But we got this right. So it was so delicious. We served it with corn and baked potato. I was too hungry and unfortunately did not get a picture of my plate. So we got a picture of our kids' plate. And let me tell you, it was delicious. You really can't go wrong with the tri-tip if you do it right. So thanks for watching. Please give us a like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.